Well, I just did a canned sardine taste test video, and in the comments I got a request to do a canned fish patty video. So I got some canned salmon and some canned mackerel, both on the cheaper ends of the spectrum, and I'll do some fried fish patties with them. I won't add a bunch of ingredients because I want to get just the flavor of the mackerel and the salmon to come through. Alright, so the ingredients for this are going to be canned mackerel, canned salmon, some green onions, a lemon, a couple of eggs, crackers for the filler, mayonnaise, mustard, salt, and pepper. Alright, first thing we'll do is we'll open our mackerel and our salmon. Salmon's a product of Alaska. And we'll dump them both out into bowls to drain them. So you can see how our salmon looks. And we'll go ahead and dump it out. Pink salmon, product of Alaska. A lot of nice big chunks. And what I'll do is I'm going to drain it, and then I'm going to take the bones and skin off. Okay, the next one will be our mackerel. Alright, we got our mackerel. Mackerel seems to have a little bit different looking broth to it. Ooh, interesting. Nice mackerel chunks. What I'll do is I'll take and I'll drain both of these. Some people use the liquid in their patties. I'm going to use mayo and eggs to liquid it up a little bit. Drain the mackerel. Before I forget, I'm going to taste each product. Just a little bit of the fish. So a little bit of the salmon. Real good flavor. Try a little bit of the mackerel. The mackerel's way better than I was expecting. Now you can eat these bones, they're soft as can be, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through both fish and I'm going to take the skin and bones out of both bowls of fish. You can see here the mackerel does have a bloodline that the salmon doesn't. A little darker meat on the smaller pieces. I'm going to go ahead and scrape that out. So you can see the salmon, once all the skin is removed and it's flaked up, how pretty it is. And the mackerel looks almost just as good. Just a little different fish. Alright, first thing is I chopped up a little bit of green onions, and it's about a good tablespoon of green onions in each one. Next thing we'll do is we'll crack an egg, whip it up a little bit. Dump one in each bowl. Put a little bit of black pepper in each one. A little bit of salt. I'm not going to put too much salt because it's a canned fish. It should be a salty product. Squeeze half a lemon into each one. Make sure you don't get the seeds in there. Alright, then I'll put about a tablespoon of mayonnaise into each one. Each fish. And about a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Like I said, you could put Creole seasoning, Worcestershire sauce, hot sauce, bell pepper, celery, onions, whatever you want into here. I'm just making a nice patty without a lot of seasoning to be able to test the different canned fishes. Okay, now I'm going to make the filler or binder, whatever you want to call it. And you can use breadcrumbs, bread, panko, all different kind of things you can use. I like to use saltine crackers. Between the salt in these crackers, the salt in the fish, and the tiny bit I put, it should be just enough to make each bowl. So I'm starting off with 10 crackers in each bowl, and we'll see how that works out, if I got to add more or less. So cracker filler. So we'll just take and mix all this together real good. You know, the mackerel actually looks really good. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap these in foil and I'm gonna refrigerate about a half hour. That'll let everything kind of marinate together and chill the patties down to where I can make some patties and also give me a chance to clean up all this mess I've made in the kitchen here. All right, I got my skillet heating up, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my fork, now that this is cooled for a half hour, and kind of somewhat quarter what's in the bowl here, and then take that quarter out to make a patty with. And take and kind of pat it a little bit. You don't want to work it too much, your hands will heat it right back up. And I'll just take and make a little patty. And I'll make 4 out of this can of mackerel and 4 out of the can of salmon. All right, so my skillet's nice and hot. I'm gonna put some olive oil in the bottom. A little bit, not a ton. Remember, we're not deep frying these. The fish is already cooked. All we're trying to do is heat them up through and get a nice crust on them. So we'll start off here with our mackerel patties. Nice little sizzle there. We'll let these cook 2 or 3 minutes on each side. So while the mackerel's cooking, I'll go ahead and form my salmon patties, and I'll do the same thing. Never have had canned mackerel before, but I love mackerel. King mackerel, smoked mackerel, Spanish mackerel, fried, smoked, however you like it. So I'm sure I'll enjoy this. It's been about 2 minutes on that side. Let's see what they look like. Oh yes, beautiful. Remember, we don't have to cook this fish. We just need to get a good char on it. All right, that's been about 3 minutes on each side for our mackerel patties. So I'll go ahead and take them out and let them cool off a little bit on paper towels. We'll do the same thing with these, about 3 minutes on each side. Then we'll do the same thing. We'll take them out and let them rest on some paper towels for a minute. Beautiful, beautiful fish patties. As you can see, it looks like the mackerel fried up a little darker than the salmon. They all held together the same. It's the same ingredients, they should. Only thing left to do is a taste test. So you can see on your right, there's a salmon patty. Little softer inside, little less firm than the mackerel, which is to be expected. Both of them held together real good. Both of them took a real nice browning. Let's start off with the salmon since it's more delicate. Very good, real good salmon flavor. Not too much filling to hide the flavor of the actual fish. Let me take a shot of water before I eat the mackerel to clear my palate. So the mackerel, like I said, it's a little firmer fish. Totally different flavor, a lot milder than I expected it to be. I got a little bit of green olive tartar sauce here. So if you're not a fish eater, I would say you would definitely like the salmon better. Definitely has a salmon flavor. The mackerel, is a little denser, a little more toothy texture-wise. It actually made a better patty. But I would assume that most people would probably like the salmon better. It's hard for me to make up my mind. So I'm gonna call this patty taste test a tie. Very good to excellent. Each one's good for its own reasons. The salmon has a light, delicate salmon flavor. The mackerel gives you more of a fish flavor with a little denser chew than the salmon. Both are very good. So if you think about it, for less than $3 a can each for salmon or mackerel, you can cook you a delicious fish meal less than the price of launching a boat. So when there's prolonged periods of rain and bad weather and you can't go out and catch your own fish, there's nothing wrong with store-bought fish or canned fish. Till the next video, cook you some fish patties and enjoy them. Well, for a final wrap up, that Chinese mackerel's good stuff. I think I actually like the mackerel better.